Brandon, Black Dime Cabaret. We have a gig coming up on Saturday at Cactus Room, and that's what this video is going to be about. I first heard of the Cactus Room, I believe, back in the days when we used to have a music podcast called No Socks, and I'm pretty sure one of the bands brought it up as being this little artsy room that has a projector in it. So the idea of having a projector drew me towards the venue, and it looks cool. As a whole, the members of Black Dime Cabaret, including myself, aren't necessarily huge fans of the bar gig. The atmosphere and vibes of kind of these Australian Melbourne pubs don't really work for our music, and the people who tend to go there aren't necessarily people who would be interested in our stuff. So the idea of playing at Cactus Room was pretty cool. So we were lucky enough to make that happen, and on Saturday it's an afternoon show at 2:30, so doors open at 2:30. It's $15 to get in. We're going to be playing with two other proggy art rock sort of bands, Arc of Sun and Tina Growls, who are both excellent. That all kicks off at 2:30, and we're hoping to get as many of you there as possible. So when Cactus Room were first talking to us about this, they were very interested in the idea of getting at least 60 people there, which I won't say I'm massively confident about that, but hopeful. And I believe, if we get 60 people there, that will definitely be a lot more than our biggest gig so far. It will be an incredibly high number of people. I am hopeful that we can hit close to that number. And so far, I think something that we've been able to do is we're able to create and generate interest around gigs. For example, on the Facebook event page, and I know it's not a great indicator, but we're able to get, we have over 80 responses, which is our best event so far. I guess the tricky thing is converting those into actual people attending, which I'm not sure. Maybe we can get half of that. If we got half of that, that's 40 people. I'd be happy with 30 people or 20 people. So that would be incredible for us to achieve. So yeah, we've generated interest, and it's just about getting people actually to go there, which for us, we get friends coming to our gigs, and we love them for that. Some people we see many times at our gigs, and it's always great to have the support. But our main audience, unfortunately, is not our friends. Fortunately or unfortunately, our main audience is not our friends. So rather, it's people who don't know us. And even though it's only $15, even for me, I hardly ever go to gigs. And for me to go to a gig of a band that I don't know, who's not massive, is impossible. Especially, I don't live in the city. I live probably 20 to 30 minutes out at best. Trying to get those people to come is a difficulty that I think we will be facing. All that aside, the gig is going to be incredible for those people who do come. So we're putting in a lot of effort into this show, a lot more than we typically do. One of the changes, probably the biggest change that we've made for the upcoming gig at Cactus, is an actual light show. That's something that I haven't seen at all, from smaller kind of bands that we've been playing with. And we are definitely we're not tiny, but we're very, very small. And we're putting in a lot of effort for a gig that hardly anyone will come to, but we're just hoping to present ourselves in the way that we want to present ourselves. So even if only 5 people show up, we're hoping to present them with a show that rivals what you'd expect to see from a sold out thing. Because for me, doing this band is not a side project. I have other work that I do, but this is my number one thing. So if I'm not going to put everything into it, then what's the point of doing it? So at Cactus, it's going to be a full light show. I've programmed every song. It was painful and took a long time and expensive. Luckily, I was able to grab some lights for cheap. They're probably the cheapest brand name lights that I could find. Got a couple half price sneakily. Not really, but some were listed on Amazon for a price that was surely not right, but I grabbed them anyway. So we were working with 4 lights, and I think we actually did a pretty good job of doing a light show. You can see some of that in our video that we posted yesterday, I believe, the Festival of Witches performance video. Sorry, Luke, you weren't in it, but you were in the end. That will showcase some of the lights that we've got going for this gig. Some other things that we've been working on is just not just playing music in front of a crowd, which I know it sounds stupid, but I feel like a lot in the past, we're just playing and there happens to be a crowd watching us, as opposed to us actively performing for the audience. And our music is a little bit, it's not like, let's all jump up and down and have a party. It's more cerebral in a very pretentious way, not to the extent of like jazz or really progressive instrumental experimental stuff. Like, it's not to that extreme, but we have previously in the past been very like, oh, we're just playing and whatever. And I think the addition of the light show will make it actually be a show. Like, you're watching a lot of movement and interactivity and just trying to perform, give you guys a show, because that is, what we say in Black Dime Cabaret, the song, that will give you quite a show. And in the past, have we really done that, or have we just played a show? Controversially, we have been in talks about ditching the old uniforms that we used to wear. So we used to wear very kind of formal suits that made us look like we were playing a jazz show at like a jazz club. And that's an idea that we continued from the first version of Black Dime Cabaret back in 2019. And the thing is, the band was different in those days. When I first started Black Dime Cabaret, it was actually more cabaret. It wasn't as heavy or progressive. It wasn't as prog as what we're doing now. It was more, we're going to have piano. There was even a violin. It was more classy, and I think we're still classy, but I think it gave off the wrong impression. And in our previous gigs, I think a lot of the time people don't understand what's going on and they don't understand us. Maybe that's an incorrect reading. I think moving away from suits and formal wear into still looking classy and nice and interesting, but a bit more casual, will clear up some of the confusion that we're actually just a band. Like, we're a rock band. It's not fancy. And I want us to be more among the people versus too pretentious, like we're better than everyone. Which I think sometimes wearing suits and dressing up like that can, if you're in a bar especially, that can definitely create a weird, like, we're better than you vibe. So at Cactus, we actually don't really have that many plans for merch. We will be bringing along postcards, which I've got some around the room, but I can't be bothered grabbing one right now. You might have seen them before, just little postcards that we usually sell for like $1. Aside from that, we will probably have some books there. There'll be the Nefarious Schemes to Murder Lady Midnight Act 1 book. There'll be the Yellow Reflections of Fontaine book. This is another thing I think people get confused by. Reflections of Fontaine isn't Black Dime Cabaret, but it is in the Black Dime Cabaret universe. That's why I sell it at the gigs, because technically it's all part of the same world, and also it's just a good book that I think everyone should read. So there'll be books there, postcards. There might be a couple of t-shirts that we've had lying around. Not a lot though. No idea what the sizes are. I want to get back into owning our own merch store and having merch that we sell from here and that we can take to gigs. But just because I've been spending so much money on lights and ads and the album that we've just made, I I can't afford any merch, so not going to be bringing much. We just want you guys to come and grab a ticket and enjoy the show. We're hoping to maybe shoot some video or some photos, and we'll use that kind of stuff to promote our next gig, which will be the full album launch in October or November. So yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say about the gig. I'm very excited. We have a great set list, I reckon, that includes a lot of songs from Act 1 and a few from Act 2, including we'll be bringing back Man Without Morality and some other songs as well that in the past you guys have really enjoyed. So Cactus, it's on Saturday the 26th of August if you're in Melbourne. It's in Thornbury, so it's a little bit weird in a sort of a strange location. I think it's also a rehearsal studio or something like that. Really nice little venue though. We're not going to be using the projector after all, we're just going to use the lights. Arc of Sun will be there, great art rock band, same as Tina Growls, who are another 3-piece rock, prog, excellent stuff. So yeah, hope to see all of you there.